The motivation today, the question or the topic is, should we fight depression and anxiety? That's quite an interesting question. I feel like, why shouldn't we? Well, Monica Nnoka is here to answer that question. It is great to have you. Good morning.
Excellent morning, Mike. How are you doing?
I'm good. So that's it. Let's get straight to it. It's a very interesting, should we fight it? Shouldn't we? Why should we? Or why is that an option, by the way, not to, depression and anxiety is something, are what people would say are negative negative emotions and all of that, and we should fight them. That's what the normal person would say. So what are your thoughts on that?
All right. So the thing about depression and anxiety is that they are actually low thoughts that you have been in a habit of thinking for a long time, that it has condensed into your moods or your emotions over a period of time. Now, trying to fight them is what keeps them for longer in the first place, because what you resist or you fight persists.
So
Yes.
far, I've been fighting poverty and I now reach you. Okay, should I fight riches?
Okay, so let me
Explain what you mean by that. Maybe it's semantic, but what do you mean by fighting it? Maybe, what do you mean?
Okay, so the thing is, most times we try to interfere with these emotions that come into our awareness. All right, but the truth is, if you understand emotions and thoughts, they are like guests that come to your house, right? And guests are actually just temporary visitors. That means they're not going to be there for a long time. They just come and they go, right? Now, paying attention to them will keep them there for longer. Paying attention to them will keep them lingering for longer than you want or you would like them to be.
So how would you
Right? So
recommend?
also ignoring them, right, would also keep them there for longer, right? And some people, because they feel they are not able to fight depression, it even worsens or aggravates their case because they feel really weak and they are unable to open up or accept where they are, and so they can't speak to anyone about it. That's why sometimes you just hear someone who has a wife and the wife is not even aware he's depressed, just commit suicide, right? Because they can't open up and they feel ashamed, guilty, and all of that. So the best way to handle this is actually to embrace it. Yes, embrace it, because the truth is, they're, like I said, they are temporary visitors, right? In your awareness, every day, we see clouds come out in the sky, right? Some of them are dark, some of them are brighter. No cloud stays there, right, for the entire day or 2 days, 3 days. They just come and go, and that's exactly the same way emotions are.
Okay.
Right?
So
But
how when you say, so what exactly, when you say embrace them, what do you do? Because you said you don't ignore them and don't fight them. So what does it mean to embrace them really?
So what I really mean by embracing is observe them, right? Observe them with compassion. Don't interfere. The fighting, right, actually interferes with the emotion, right? Or if you also ignore it, it's like telling you that I'm going to ignore you. But when I'm trying to ignore you
And I'm always there.
and you're here, I'm trying my best to ignore you. That means I know you're there, and every time I think about ignoring you, I'm thinking about you, so I'm still interfering. All right?
Okay.
Yeah.
I
So
think I get the idea.
yeah, so what
Yes.
you want to do in such a scenario is to actually acknowledge that it's there,
Okay.
observe it with compassion on yourself, right? And then meet it with curiosity.
When you say observe with compassion, what's the action you take to observe with compassion? So, for instance, I have a thought of,
Okay.
let's say, financial, my finances, or maybe, okay, love is cliche, but let's say finances. I don't have money for something, and I feel very bad about it. I'm unable to go out and work out. How do I observe that situation? I don't have money at the moment. How do I observe it with compassion at that point?
Okay, so just a one-off I don't have money, right? Is it just comes and goes. right? So that doesn't really cause depression. It's when you start fighting and feeling really bad for too long, it becomes a habit, right? Guess what? It becomes your mood, and then over time becomes your attitude, and that attitude is when you really get into a situation that you feel like there is no hope for life, right? That's when depression comes in.
That's coming in.
Yes,
Okay.
but how you observe your thoughts is really by observing it, by understanding that, okay, so I feel, this is how I feel at the moment. And when you're observing it, you notice that the thoughts came from a place of lack and a place of, like victim thoughts, meaning that, okay, so the environment, I don't have money at this time, and the environment, I can't get it. I'm not trying to get it, so I feel like I'm a victim to the environment. But if you begin to think from a place of, I may not have the physical cash right now, but I can do more or do something that will add value in some way that will give me the physical cash, then you replace the thoughts of, I don't have to, what value can I add right now that will bring this money that, yes, that would exchange.
Your thoughts start becoming more constructive.
Exactly.
And, start moving away from those and thinking of how to create that thing that you need. Okay, that's something that people can learn from.
Exactly. So another thing that we should do when we feel depressed or feel anxious is to practice mindfulness, right?
How so?
Start meditation.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
Because I had high functioning anxiety about 7-8 years ago. I really had high functioning anxiety when I used to be a business manager in the bank, and
the job comes with it. When you wrote that I can handle pressure, you don't know what you were going in for, yeah?
So the truth is, it can trigger that, but it is really not responsible for that. Right?
Okay.
It can trigger it. What's responsible for it is the way I was reacting
to it, definitely.
Yes, to my environment, right, and the things that were happening. Because I wasn't responding. So your outlook to life can also trigger depression.
Yeah, mostly your response, because what happens is how you respond to it.
Exactly.
That that is the major factor there. So meditation, how do you meditate?
So
music, silence, how do you do it?
So I practice silent meditation.
Okay.
And meditation actually saved me. Sincerely, it was like my coach, like
so how do you do it?
Self-coach. So
how do you meditate?
So I sit first thing in the morning, right, and I take deep breaths, and then I just do nothing, right? I try to.
What do you fix your mind on?
I fix my mind on my breath. So
your breath.
Yes. So the thing about meditation is that a lot of people are trying to meditate, and that's where the challenge is. You don't try to meditate. You just sit and do nothing and observe your emotions, your thoughts, and then guess what? You begin to get fresh insights and a different perception, about life, and that's what really is the deal breaker for me, right? Meditation. So it was handling or curing the challenge I had at the root, not the fruits.
All right.
Because most things that we do actually just help make depression better, but they do not cure.
They do not cure it. Wonderful. That's one thing I will pick out today. If there's one thing you have to pick out, meditation and how to do it. That's what I was asking, but you said silence. I will try that out sometime. Thank you very much, Monica.
You're welcome.
We'll continue with this, but we have to go. We don't have time now.
Yes, thank you. You're welcome.
All right.